So good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to St. Clair Church. And today, Johnny Balcaris is going to start us off with some music before the talk and after the talk. So there you go, Johnny. Thanks.
So I don't have a PowerPoint, but I'm just doing, I don't know very many Christian songs, so I know some old hymns. It's kind of a new thing for me to be doing any worship stuff, but anyway, so you might just know the words.
From thou fount every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious song, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the man I'm fixed upon it, mount of thy unchanging love. Here I raise my Ebenezer, hither by thy help I'm come, and I hope by some good measure safely to arrive at home. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger interposed his precious blood. Oh, to grace how great a debt daily I'm constrained to be. Let that grace, like a feather, find my wandering heart to lead. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. Here with my heart, take and seal it. Seal it for thy course of love.
Maybe the first verse again.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious song, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mountain I'm fixed upon it, mountain thy unchanging love.
Okay, the second song I'm going to do is just a song by Sarah Harmer. Just a song that I like. Here it goes. Sorry.
Maybe I know that we've got trouble in the fields. The bankers swarm like locusts out there, turning away our heat. The train rolls by our silos, silver in the rain. The pockets full of nothing but these dreams golden rain. Our children live in the city and they rest upon our shoulders. They don't want the rain to fall or the weather to get colder. Our parents had their hard times 50 years ago. They stood out in these empty fields in dust as deep as snow. And all this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. And if we sell that new John Deere, then we'll work these crops with sweat and tears. You'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. All this time we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. There's a book up on the shelf about the Dust Bowl days. There's a little bit of you and a little bit of me in the photos on every page. Our children live in the city and they rest upon our shoulders. They don't want the rain to fall or the weather to get colder. And all this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. Never take our native soil. And if we sell that new John Deere, then we'll work these crops with sweat and tears. You be the mule, I'll be the plow. Harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields.
Thanks, John. That's beautiful. Good morning again. So, isn't that a beautiful song? And it just, to me, it seems like you can just fit it into whatever you're living through. You know, it's not necessarily the prairies and the farms and the difficulties there. It's whatever fields you've been plowing. You know, there's still a lot of love in these troubled fields. That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so let's have a prayer. Anything we should be remembering today? Yeah? Mandy.
Yeah.
So this was the third time that Mandy Alberts has been called for a transplant. The first for a kidney transplant, which she's needed for some years. And the first time, ironically, it was on Mandy's birthday. And they got the call, and then 20 minutes later, so they were just getting ready to zip to Halifax, and then 20 minutes later they got the call saying it wouldn't work. And then on Ron's birthday, 6 months later, the day before Ron's birthday, they got the call that there was a donor ready on life support. And so Mandy went, and everything was prepared, and there were lots of other people too waiting, but it turned out that it didn't work that time either. And so came home. It's just it's so hard, you know, because it's such a life-changing thing. Mandy's been on dialysis for about 2 years, I think, at home, about 10 hours a night. So this was, anyway, this time they got the call and they went up, and the other times Mandy said it helped her to feel more comfortable. She knew what to expect this time. and the operation went well. It was a long operation, but everything's successful, and now she's recovering. And so we have to pray for no rejection, and we have to pray for no infection and things like that. But just so excited that this is something that Ron and Mandy have known was in their future for as long as we've known them, for maybe 15 years or something like that. So this is pretty wonderful. So, are there other things we should be praying about too?
The election results.
Oh, is there an election nearby? Are we close to an election? Yes, Eliza?
I have grandma named Gladys, and she's dead, that's why.
You have a what?
I have a grandma and she's dead, that's why I want to pray to her too.
You pray to her. Pray to Gladys? Okay, can you, who is Gladys?
Gladys is my grandmother, my mom's mom.
Oh, okay, great.
She died about 20 years ago.
Okay, thank you, Eliza, that's awesome. Yeah, yep, Julie?
We have a friend whose mom is in the ICU in the States with COVID-19.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay. So, and do you know her first name?
No, my friend's name is Erin.
Okay, Aaron's mom.
Erin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Shannon?
And all our family across the river that's here with the
Yeah, that's right. Suddenly there's been quite a surge of cases in Calais. And so that, actually people from this church who live across the river we've just been sort of gently making plans for people to get together. And actually it stopped with me because when I started to see the surge, I just didn't do the next step. I guess I have to go back to that, but it kind of just gave me so much of a shock, I don't want to encourage people to get together if there's a, okay, well, let's hold these things up. I'm very likely to forget one or two, so just yell them out if I do. Father, please hear our prayers for Aaron's mom, for our dear friends across the river, for Calais actually to come quickly through this time and to be protected again. For the election in the United States, pray for the best result for America and for the world. I have such a clear sense of what that is, but I ask for peaceful transitions if that's what's to happen, and for fairness in the process, and for good leadership in America and in our country and around the world. We ask for great leaders to emerge who have a sense of responsibility and not entitlement. And that justice grows. We pray for Mandy and Ron. Just so grateful that this third time that this kidney transplant is successful. We pray for excellent healing and every step along the way, everything that needs to take place. And protection from infection and also from rejection. So we ask for these gifts. So please be with us, and as we think today in Scripture and just hang out together, we pray that you'd be close to, and pray that our hearts would get reinvigorated by hanging out together with you. Amen. Oh, John, I'm so pleased with the music. Thanks. That's the first time John's done music here. Just thanks. I really love that. So the talk today is Confidence on the Path, and it made me think of something wonderful and old, and that everybody will know, but not too well. And it's the poem by Robert Frost. I think 2 or 3 of Robert Frost's poems are so well known. Which one do you think is the most famous? The Two Paths. Okay, that's the one I want to read. Do you know Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening? Yeah. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, so I love that one. So this is the one I'm reading, so The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. What's the feeling you get from that poem? What are thoughts that emerge as you hear it?
The processing of second guessing himself.
Huh. So there's this there's I don't know which way to go. I'm wondering which way is best. And then there's a second guessing that comes after that. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, great.
I'm thinking of when King Arthur kind of sends the knights out, and there's all these different pathways to go down, and that the instruction is that they should choose the one that is most frightening to them.
Wow. Wow. Choose the path that is most frightening to them. That was King Arthur's credo. Wow. In other words, that if you take something that's too easy, you don't grow, and you don't have glorious adventures that we can sing songs about later. Okay. Take the road that is most frightening to them. That's amazing. But anybody else have a thought that comes from hearing the poem?
I think I hear humility. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, just humility that.
The lady in the black mask.
Yeah, that others had. Yeah, that there's real choice,
There's real choice.
and that we could even go back, maybe, but probably wouldn't. You know, there's just some openness.
So you're hearing openness and humility. I love that. So I could even go back and do the other one. It's nice to keep that thought in my mind, but knowing how way leads on to way, I probably won't. Yeah. Here's what I got out of it. To me, I wanted to talk because I'm I'm sort of going through the little New Testament letter of 1 John. To me, it seems like the passage that we're looking at speaks about confidence in the choices that you've made. And I think that's why this poem sort of jumped into my head over this weekend. I just kept thinking about the last part of it, and that has made all the difference. I thought, maybe you could say that so many different ways, but one way is sort of looking back with satisfaction and going, I'm glad I took the road less traveled by. So then I just started thinking about what gives us confidence that we've made good choices. So that's what it talks about. And here in 1 John chapter 3, these are just some of the key ideas that I think I've seen in some of the PowerPoints that I've been doing over the last few weeks. And let's see. I think in the first part of chapter 3, the main idea was stick to the source. There's a source of flowing love and compassion that we call God. And stick to the source and purify your heart. The second one was don't forget we are what we do, not what we think about. The third one was build the community, don't tear it apart. Fourth one was choose the emotional pool that you'll bathe in. Remember last time I spoke, I think it was last week, was we had a swimming pool of negative emotions and a swimming pool of positive emotions, and then a yoga mat of self-help. And the idea was, sometimes we get lost in one of these or the other, and we'd like to learn how to transfer from our negative emotions to our positive emotions. And sometimes in the middle, we just have sort of a self-help symbol, trying to become the best that we can be. And I was saying that's a wonderful thing, but even better if you could do it with the intent that you want to take all the gifts that you've got in your life and give them away. Take care of yourself in order that you can build community and care for others. So here's the passage for today, and it's just chapter 3, verses 18 to 24. That's the end of the chapter. Little children, let us love not in word or speech, but in truth and action. And by this we will know that we're from the truth, and will reassure our hearts before him whenever our hearts condemn us. For God's greater than our hearts, and he knows everything. Beloved, if our hearts don't condemn us, we have boldness before God, and we receive from him whatever we ask, because we obey his commandments and do what pleases him. And this is his commandment, that we should believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and love one another just as he's commanded us. And all who obey his commandments abide in him, and he abides in them. And by this we know that he abides in us, by the Spirit that he's given us. So I think there's several little keys in there that would give confidence. Several things that would help you know you were on the right path, or several things that would make you feel that you had. And I really liked that thought. So things that give us confidence. Maybe it'd be better if we don't get lost in abstractions and religious compulsions, or even the sense of believe in terms of propositional ideas, because believe in the old sense is what do you live by. So this reassures us when our hearts are down. And remember, God isn't interested in ups and downs. He or she looks at the big picture. And if our hearts aren't pressed down, we find it easier to flow in compassion, and good things tend to happen. And if we're doing our best to love each other, we'll soon see evidence of the Spirit in our midst. Having a little trouble finding a way to look at everybody and look at this. So this is the way I've thought about this in the past. It seems to me that because I worry so much, and I especially when I was really trying to be a good pastor or trying to be a faithful Christian, which I fortunately feel quite free from now. Both of those things I don't seem to care as much about either. But I used to be so full of just this sense of, am I getting it right? Am I getting it right? And I'd be so upset if I thought I got it wrong. Sometimes I could even be depressed for 2 or 3 months at a time. And I would have this sort of sense that I'm looking at how faithful my heart has been, or whether I've said the right things to people, or whether I screwed up in some way. And I'm always looking at my ups and downs. And then somebody said to me, God doesn't really care about your little ups and downs. God's looking at the overall picture. God's looking at where you started and where you're heading toward. And that really brought a measure of peace to me. I just thought, oh shoot, I know I'm different than I was 15 years ago. I know I've grown a little. I know I'm more mature. I know I'm a little bit more compassionate some days. So that really helped me. I thought it's not so much about these little oscillations, these little ups and downs. It's just about what's the whole picture. Where are you heading toward? Are you trying to help the world become more just? Are you trying to represent justice in your own situations? Are you trying to bring beauty? Are you trying to bring compassion? And that helped a lot. And I was kind of surprised when I looked at this. I read it in Greek yesterday, and it says, our hearts. I'll go back and just look at it. Oops. Beloved, if our hearts do not condemn us. The normal word for condemn is a word that means pressed down, but this isn't that word. It's a word I've never seen before. It's a word, beloved, if our heart doesn't know specific things, bad specific things that we've done. That's the word that was there. And then it says, God is greater than our hearts and knows all things. Where are we? God doesn't focus on the specifics, but on the big picture. So the word gnosko is the word to know. And so the katagnosko is the knowing the specific things, the knowing according to. It's like really pointing the details out. And then the other one is, no, it's just God knows. And I thought, yeah, God is greater than our heart, and he knows all things. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. So what else gives you confidence? Like, what gives you confidence that you've made good choices in your life? I'll just go backwards for a second. What gives you confidence? What are things that you've you know, that make you feel that you did the right thing? How do you know? Yep, Pete?
Helping others when they really need
Helping others when they really need it gives you a kind of a special feeling.
it. Yeah,
And it just makes you know in your heart you did the right thing.
yeah.
Way to go. Yeah. What else gives you confidence?
It's often a sense of peace.
A sense of peace?
A sense of peace in not worrying about whether you did right or not. You just have a sense that
Okay, if you can live with a sense of peace, think how wonderful that is. That's priceless, eh? So you even if things are going crazy all around you, if you have that sense of peace, you can feel quite confident, I guess. Yeah. Okay. What are some other ways?
Reassurance.
Yeah. What, like reassurance about?
Just somebody else's opinion or something that is giving you confirmation. Thank you.
I love that. Okay. So one of the things that really helps is people come alongside and say, I see what you did there, and I really think you made the right choice. Like that? Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can really help each other. We can make, and what a thing to think. If most of us are sort of a little bit insecure about our choices, then think how wonderful it would be when somebody that you know, somebody that you love, and somebody that you trust and respect comes up close to you and says, you know, I just really love the way you've handled this season, or the way, you know, I love who you are. I think you've done well. We can encourage each other, reassure each other. Wait, what else? What gives you confidence? Stock market? Maybe not. Seems like too many ups and downs. Yeah. Yep, Marcy?
What gives me confidence is my faith in God. And
Oh.
if I don't have that every day,
Okay, so for you, faith in God is kind of an anchor, and it actually gives you confidence. It's like you, somewhere along the way, you decided this was worth putting trust in. And so that's been an anchor in your life. Beautiful. Pete,
I go wrong with that one.
you go along with that? I think so too.
okay, Peter, we're on a roll.
We're on a roll. So I guess that's maybe choosing something to hold on to as an anchor that you can really put your trust in. Yeah, great.
I think you would need that, especially if it's in a case where you're making an assertion of self and you don't have that external confirmation.
Say that one more time.
If you're making a stance to put yourself forward on a path, but you don't have those external confirmations, that stance might in fact be transgressive to those external confirmations. But you would have to have a sense of self and understanding in order to continue with it.
I love it. Okay, so say you start down a path, and you don't have any reassurance from friends. You don't have the kinds of circumstances that would make you feel like, oh, I did the right thing. So you would need to have something really strong on the inside, saying this is really what I believe is the right path, and it goes along with the values that I've chosen. Wow. That's beautiful. Yeah,
A good
Dave.
result builds confidence, but often we don't see the result until later.
A good result builds confidence, but often you don't see the result until later.
If you step off into the new whatever, and it's only looking back that you get the assurance that you did the right thing, that you made the right choice.
I'm just remembering something while you say this. So way long time ago, there used to be block parties in our area. And in these all the neighbors would get together and we'd have a little bit of food and have a few drinks. And anyway, there was one particular time that we were there, and a couple, really nice couple in our area, were telling jokes that were so kind of over the top in the locker room direction that I thought every time, there's some really old people here, they probably can't handle this. So I would turn it. I'd just say, hey, hey, and I tell a joke that was sort of funny, I thought, but be a little cleaner, you know. Anyway, what I didn't realize is that everybody in the neighborhood loved those jokes. We never got asked back to the parties, so it kind of blew it. But somehow, this really doesn't fit with the analogy, but anyway, 20 years later, we ended up in conversations with people based on things that had been communicated somehow in that manner. I don't know if we did the right thing or the wrong thing, but anyway, some kind of sincerity got communicated, and 20 years later, there were some serious conversations. I just remember that awakening of going, oh no, everybody else loved it. We were completely out to lunch. I was. Yeah. Okay. So here's some things I thought give confidence too. A sense of resonance, internal resonance. You know, it's like, you know, when life surges, and sometimes it does surge in the midst of terrible circumstances, but you just know. It's like an internal hum or harmony. You know what harmony is in music?
No.
Okay. Well, harmony is when you get a couple of people singing together and they're singing different lines. And at first, I tried really hard to learn how to sing harmony. It wasn't easy for me because I didn't sing much when I was young. And anyway, if I would sometimes get it to the place where it wasn't awful, I would say, maybe I've got it, maybe I've got it. But all I was really doing was singing an octave. I'd be singing the same note, an octave higher or an octave lower. So it wasn't really harmony. Harmony is actually a blend where the sum is greater than the parts. You can just feel the resonance just makes you go, oh no, that's... So if you're actually asking, is that harmony? You don't have it. It's really true. If you're asking, you don't have it. Because when it's going on, it's actually so beautiful you can feel it. And that's kind of how I feel inside when I think I've made the right choice. The way we feel when we experience or witness an act of kindness. Something about kindness just seems so right. One of the Chinese philosophers said that even the worst criminal will gasp if he sees a child about to fall into a well. And he said, at the heart of every human there is goodness. Maybe there is some other stuff too, but at the heart of every human there's goodness. This was a man named Mencius, and he said, the most hardened criminal will gasp if he sees an infant about to fall into a well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something in us that longs for kindness. I think laughter is really good. Laughter, when something emerges and brings laughter and some sense of joy, I usually feel like that's a sign that we're on the right path. Seeing people flourish, seeing people use their gifts, seeing people grow, that gives me great confidence that something good is happening. Yeah, watching people grow. I guess that's it. So I thought of one other thing to look at, and it's Psalm 73. I don't know if you know this psalm. It's kind of a famous one. I just thought I'd put it up here and we could look at it. Truly God is good to the upright, to those that are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled, my steps had nearly slipped. For I was envious of the arrogant. I saw the prosperity of the wicked. This is a psalm about somebody who says, you know what? It drove me crazy that some people who don't seem to be good people keep seeming to have good things happen to them in life. And then he goes on and describes all of that in the rest of the song. And then finally, can we go right to the end of the song? There it is. It says, when my soul was embittered, I'd almost lost my capacity to be a human. I was so angry. I think that would be the negative pool of emotions. I was just so angry at how it seemed so unfair. Some people, it's like no bad thing happens to them. And then he says, but then, nevertheless, I'm continually with you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. Afterward, you will receive me with honor. Whom have I in heaven but you? There's nothing on earth I desire other than you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And then he, in the last little bit, he says, and ultimate justice is with you. It's not here, it's ultimately there will be justice. So I feel like this is somebody who's wrestling with confidence too. And God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. It's the old psalmist is just wrestling with, was this a good path to take? I tried to be a good person, and then I look at the other people that didn't, and they seem to be getting wealthier, and it seems like they're healthy, they got no worries. And then suddenly there's this, he said, I went into the temple, I went into the place that we designated to worship you, and it was like I awoke. And in my waking, I realized that I actually have confidence that I chose the right path. God bless us. Johnny, do some music.
Alrighty, so I'm going to do another hymn and then Ben Harper song that I like. And here goes. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. It saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but now I see. This is a song I really like by Ben Harper. And I learned it to play it when I graduated from SSU, and I think it's pretty cool. And I hope you do too. Battered and torn, still I can't see the light. Tattered and worn, but I must kneel to fight. Friend of mine, what can you spare? I know sometimes
shall not walk alone. Hope is alive whenever we're apart. Only tears speak from my heart. Break the chains that hold us down, and we shall be forever bound. When I'm tired and weary and a long way from home, I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. Beauty that we left behind, how shall we tomorrow find? Set aside our waiting sin, so that we could live again. When my legs no longer carry, and the warm winds chill my bones, I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. No, I shall not walk alone.
So I just say this, that we have kind of a wonderful next few weeks coming up in terms of talks. Walt's on next week, and the week after that is Jessica, and the week after that's Mark Grollo, and Jacob's doing music next week. John, thank you so much for this week, and God bless everybody. Hope you have a great week.
Okay.
Mhm.